The EversStart series features some of the top names in professional fishing and some of its brightest young stars. The best from the 4 EversStart regions converged this week on Tennessee's Old Hickory Lake. Someone will set the hook on the 2003 EversStart Series Championship. Our 10 finalists take center stage, starting right now on FLW Outdoors. Hello, America, and welcome to Gallatin, Tennessee. This is the 2003 EversStart Championship on FLW Outdoors, and I'm Carlton Wing.
Hello, I'm Taylor Carr.
And I'm Charlie Evans. This tournament dedicated to Connie Stakely of the EversStart staff.
We have the top anglers from the 4 EversStart regions across the country that came to Gallatin, Tennessee, all looking for that championship, and our 10 finalists just took the stage. Charlie, let's talk a little bit about the format of the EversStart series.
Absolutely. In the EversStart series, we have 4 different divisions that are out there. Only the top 40 make it from each division to the championship. 150 total anglers here. Everybody fishes the first 2 days, and we're down to our top 20 on day 3. And here on the final day, 10 of the best of the very best of the best to find out who is the best of those 10.
Speaking of the best, some of the best names in fishing compete in the EversStart series all year long. Getting to this championship is huge for them, but even better still, getting to this stage, Taylor.
Yeah, it is, and the weather was a factor all week long. We had good weather, but sometimes that's not so great fishing. The weather was great, but Charlie, the first 2 days, the anglers really struggled.
Absolutely they did. Obviously, but a lot of people caught them on day 1, didn't catch them on day 2, didn't catch them on day 1, made adjustments, caught them on day 2. It seemed to change every single day. The weather continually got warmer, but today, hardly any wind at all, so it changed again today. These guys will see who adapted the best.
Let's talk about the first 2 days. Those are critical because you got to get past days 1 and 2 to make it to the finals. Here's a look back at days 1 and 2 from the EversStart Championship.
How y'all doing? That boy. That's a hog right here.
EversStart Championship, Day 1.
The 2003 EversStart Championship started with a fog delay. 90 extra minutes to consider the tough conditions on Old Hickory.
Most of the time when we come here, you catch a lot of short fish, and I'm not even catching short fish right now.
What would make you happy on day 1?
A limit. Don't care how big it is.
Might only weigh 4 or 5 pounds, though.
I need 5 bites.
If I can catch a limit, I will be ecstatic.
I'd like to catch 3.
That's Brett Erler, champion of the New Western Division. Erler and fellow Californian Art Berry are among 30 who qualified from the West, and they had good reason to worry about catching even 3 fish. Early in the day, Berry was throwing a fluke and looking for his first keeper, and so was defending champion Kobe Krieger with a homemade crankbait on the East Fork of Station Camp Creek. He'd end up with nothing. And it was that way for much of the field. Sacks were very small, and 40 pros didn't weigh a single fish. Only 2 had limits. Tommy Dillon, who'd finished the day 4th, and FLW pro Dan Moorhead in 9th place. VFL and EversStart phenom Tony Christian also turned in a good day. The All-American champion caught 4 keepers for 9 pounds 10 ounces and 5th place.
I was flipping on bluffs and around docks all day long. That's what I did all day.
Leading the way through day 1, Michigan's Art Ferguson with 4 bass that weighed 12.3. But co-angler Ken Baldwin nearly stole the show. His 7-pound 3-ounce monster was the day's big fish and gave him the lead on the amateur side.
EversStart Championship, Day 2.
So how does a guy get a limit around here? Figure that out on day 2, and there's a decent chance you're fishing in the finals.
I kept my head down and just fished real hard. I'm power fishing, throwing a Man's Maniac, lipless vibrating crankbait, and some other small crankbaits, and just covering a lot of water.
Indiana's Greg Corshot needed a big day 2, and he appeared to be off to a good start. But half an inch can make all the difference, and Corshot was still looking. Snickers pro John Sappington started this colorful fall day in 24th place, very close to the cut. but the fishing didn't go his way, and he ended up out of contention.
On a championship, you want to go out with a jig and a spinner bait, and you want to, swing from the hip and try to catch a big bag and let it all hang out. But I went and started throwing a crankbait and spinner bait for a while today, just trying something different, and came in with a 0.
Some anglers saw an improved bite on day 2, with 14 limits weighed in. The biggest belonged to Kellogg's pro Jim Tutt, who'd zeroed on day 1, then bounced back with the tournament's biggest stringer.
A 5-fish limit worth 16 pounds and 12 ounces.
One of these days when I keep telling myself what to do, I'm going to do it. I slowed down today. Fished an area where I knew there were some fish and just, stayed in there all day and wouldn't get many bites, but today I got keeper bites.
Leading the way into the semifinals, Kellogg's pro Clark Wendlandt, with the only 2-day total over 20 pounds.
And he's getting ready to blow this thing wide open. 10 pounds and 5 ounces, a 2-day total of 20 pounds and 12 ounces.
Wendlandt says he just went practice fishing and ends up leading the field of 20 semifinalists. In the co-angler competition, Mario Ringo of Arcadia, California, took home the first prize of $10,000 and a new Ranger boat. Day 3 from the EversStart Championship is coming up. Here's this week's Field and Stream trivia question. Who is Old Hickory Lake named for? Is it Abe Lincoln, Thomas Jefferson, Andrew Jackson, or George Hickory? The Field and Stream trivia answer is C. Old Hickory Lake was named for Andrew Jackson, the 7th U.S. president who made Tennessee home and was so tough his nickname was Old Hickory.
Yeah, be a keeper. I got him!
EversStart Championship, Day 3.
And welcome back to the EversStart Championship on Old Hickory Lake in Tennessee, and a beautiful day for fall fishing in the Nashville area. This is Art Ferguson in the Pedigree boat. He's out of Michigan, and he led this event after day 1, but he struggled yesterday. Now, was that by design, or was Ferguson saving up for the semifinals? We'll find out in a few minutes. First, let's check in with Carlton Wing. He is with Jim Tutt.
I'm with Jim Tutt out of Longview, Texas. He zeroed on day 1, but he knew he was around big fish. His co-angler caught a 7-pounder, and then Jim rebounded on day 2 with the largest stringer of this tournament so far, 16 pounds and 12 ounces to earn a slot in the semifinal round. Jim, that's an impressive display on day 2. Obviously, you made the right adjustment to make it happen.
Right. I don't really think it's the adjustment that I made as much as the weather adjusted a little bit. I did slow down quite a bit and really fish every little piece of cover, but the weather changed. We had some wind, and I think that put them up on the bank, where they were feeding. But basically, the weather changed a little bit, and these fish are feeding. They'll move up and feed, and then they'll back off, and it's timing.
Was it hard to stick with your game plan after your day 1?
It actually made it a lot easier. I mean, if you have nothing the first day, you can kind of go for broke because you know that a couple of fish are not going to do you any good, and this area seems to be holding some big fish, just not a lot of them, or can't catch a lot of them, and so I thought my best chances would be to stay in an area where there were better fish, and since fishing has been really tough, you can't ever catch them when you're running, and I just put my head down and fished all day, and it paid off yesterday.
You had said that the key was that you were running a shallow crankbait around timber and rocks.
Basically fishing it from zero, from right on the bank, which that's where most of the fish are. You make a couple of turns and they'll get it, out to about 3 foot. And I've kind of figured out now where a lot of the underwater rocks and stumps are, so I can hit those. But you pretty much need to hit something to get the bites. And they're pretty mushy. I mean, you won't hardly feel them because it's so shallow, they just run up there and grab it.
It's 20 minutes after takeoff, and Hull, Georgia's Tony Christian is fishing a heavy jig alongside a boat dock. And Christian does it again, sets the hook on another big fish in a big tournament. It's the same way he's won 9 events in less than 2 years.
Oh! That fish broke my line the other day. I got him! I got him! That fish broke my line. I know it was him. He's scrawny, but he's pretty.
At 4.5 pounds, that's downright beautiful, and Christian's day is off to a good start. In the Snickers boat, Western pro Clifford Perch is catching a spotted bass on a jig, his first keeper. Steve Kennedy is throwing a green pumpkin trick worm on light tackle. With no luck, that changes almost 90 minutes into the day, and Kennedy's keeper starts a flurry of activity. 2 minutes later, and Clark Wendlandt is looking for something, like his first fish, which he gets flipping a jig in about 10 feet of water.
See, I got them rocks hanging out over the water. That's all the way down under the water, just like that, too.
That's Fuji pro Wesley Strader flipping a black tube and explaining why he's about to catch his first fish.
I got him. Spot. Keeper. All right. At least I didn't zero. That's all I gotta say.
In the pedigree boat, this is Art Ferguson from Lake St. Clair Shores, Michigan. And Art, I've seen you got a soft plastic, a crankbait, and a jig. Are you just kind of searching right now?
Yeah, just trying to figure out if they want it slow or fast this morning. There's fish in this area. Just gotta pick them out one at a time. I'm not expecting to get a whole bunch of bites. You know, just if I can get one an hour, I'll just be very thankful. Just each bite's gonna count.
You had over 12 pounds on day one. Did you catch your fish in here?
Yeah, I caught most of my fish up in here. Yep.
And then yesterday, just one fish. Were you playing it safe, knowing you pretty much had the semifinals locked up?
I didn't practice as well. I actually used yesterday partly as a practice day. And I didn't feel comfortable once I went out doing that. I wasn't doing what I felt I needed to be doing. So I kind of lost about a half a day yesterday fishing, but it didn't seem to hurt me. The whole key is just getting that top 20 for today.
Good fish, good fish, good fish.
In the Land O'Lakes boat, Nixa, Missouri's Troy Akins has his second keeper and a total of almost 4 pounds. Minutes later, Wendlandt is catching his second fish, a 2.5 pounder, and it gives him 4 pounds. But it would be his last keeper of the day. We're about 20 miles from takeoff. We're in Drake's Creek, and this is Craig Powers from Rockwood, Tennessee. So far, no fish in the boat. Craig, what are you trying to do today?
Well, I'm just trying to catch 5. Right now, I'd like to catch 1, but now I'm just fishing in the back of these pockets. What they've done back here, they've dredged out both sides of this creek for boat traffic, I suppose. And they're just a big flat spot right here that the bait fish they've been on it ever since I've been here. And we've caught a lot of keepers right here between me and Dan Moorhead. I know there's at least probably 20 keepers been caught right here. But the water, wait a minute, net. Please don't be a shad. Now, please be 14. That one need to be more room between his head and his tail, but what the heck?
How close was he, Craig?
13 3/4.
Oh.
There's a lot of those in this lake. I mean, yesterday I know I caught at least 35 bass, and I had 5 keepers that weighed 7 pounds.
Powers can't match that and ends up with 3 fish, missing the cut by a pound. Art Ferguson misses it too, by only 13 ounces. And Jim Tutt is kept out of the finals by a mere 2 ounces. There are only 2 limits on day 3, and one belongs to Steve Kennedy, who qualifies for the finals in 3rd place. Tony Christian doesn't get a limit, but he doesn't need to. His 3rd fish gives him 10-11 and the top spot going into the final round. Up next, you'll meet the 10 finalists in the EversStart Championship.
FLW Outdoors is brought to you by Walmart. Always low prices, always. By EversStart Batteries. More power for your money. By Ranger Boats. Still building legends one at a time. And by Stanley. Make something great. Welcome back to Gallatin, Tennessee in the 2003 EversStart Championship. And Charlie, when you want to crown a champion, You don't want those conditions to be too easy, and these anglers certainly had to deal with some of the ups and downs of fishing this week on Old Hickory.
Absolutely. A lot of variables here. Of course, like I said, we started with cooler weather and it warmed up, then the wind blew, then it died. The weather changed constantly. This time of the year on Old Hickory is the toughest time to kind of establish a pattern that will stay put for 4 days. It changed every single day, and again, whoever adapts the best here today will be our champion.
And these guys adapted very well, the 10 anglers who surround this stage. We started with a full field of 150 of the best pros from all over the country. We cut ourselves down to a semifinal field of 22, and then now today we have our 10 finalists who made what we call the Poland cut. Let's meet our finalists right now. Our first finalist came from the Central Division. His stringers during the qualifying round kept him near the top of the leaderboard. He held on for the semifinal round for a shot at today's title. From Manhattan, Kansas, Tommy Dillon. Our next finalist comes from the Western Division, where he finished 12th in his first season in the EverStart circuit. His 10-pound stringer on day one was third best of the field. From Payson, Arizona, Clifford Perch. Our next finalist hails from the Northern Division, where he finished 7th this year. His day two stringer of 8 pounds, 13 ounces helped him make the cut. In his third EverStart championship, from Kent, Ohio, Vic Vadalero. Our next finalist is a 3-year veteran of the EverStart Eastern Division. He showed great composure after zeroing on day one to turn a 12-pound, 10-ounce stringer on day two. Also in his third EverStart championship, from Dahlonega, Georgia, Scott SILLS. Our next finalist finished 10th at last year's EverStart Championship and also 10th in last year's BFL All-American. He utilized a strong day one weight to make the cut and looked to improve on last year's finish. From Salina, Ohio, Dick Schaefer. Our next finalist has risen quickly through the ranks of professional fishing. He's an EverStart Series veteran who just completed his first season on the FLW Tour. He rebounded from a tough day one with a solid day two. From Erie, Pennsylvania, Dave LeFebre. Our next finalist qualified through the Central Division with a 4th place finish in the season standings. He caught one of the rare 5-fish limits this week to make it through the qualifying round. From Nixa, Missouri, Troy Akins. Our next finalist qualified through the Northern Division, where in 3 seasons he has never finished worse than 8th. His day two total of just under 10 pounds secured a shot at his 3rd win in the EverStart Series. From Clare, Michigan, Banana Boat Pro Kevin Vida. Our next finalist is one of the rising stars in the sport. After a strong showing in the BFL and EverStart, his move up to the FLW Tour included a victory with a $100,000 payday. His limit of 8 pounds, 10 ounces, second best in the semifinal round. From Auburn, Alabama, Steve Kennedy. Our final finalist is enjoying a storybook career in his journey through the EverStart and the BFL, where he owns 9 wins in the past 2 years, including the All-American Championship. His day 3 total of 10 pounds, 11 ounces was the top way to the semifinal round. From Hull, Georgia, Tony Christian. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a big round of applause for our 10 finalists for the 2003 EverStart Championship. And ladies and gentlemen, all of the on-the-water action awaits when we come right back on FLW Outdoors. FLW Outdoors is brought to you by Garmin. Get a Garmin and get on fish. By Snickers. Going fishing? Grab a Snickers. By Evinrude. Leaner, meaner, cleaner. And by Walmart. Always low prices, always.
And the crowd is pumped up in Gallatin, the EversStart Championship. And an EversStart angler stands to my right. He is Jim Wickham of Morristown, Arizona. And you won the Evinrude EversStart Co-Angler Award. What did you do so well this year, Jim?
All I did basically was just go fish. I didn't put a whole lot of pressure on myself. Just went out and wanted to do well and place well, and things worked out for me.
Co-anglers fish from the back of the boat, and what this award was the co-angler who made the most top tens and finished highest most consistently, and you did that, but it came down to the last one. What happened there?
I was tied in points with another person from the Western Division, Ron Chambers, going into the last tournament, and it basically came down to who was going to make the cut and who wasn't. And thank goodness I did, and here I am.
You've got a new Ranger with an Evinrude on it now. Would you like to fish on the pro side in the near future?
I would love to. That's every co-angler's goal, is to fish as a pro. Sponsor depending, I would love to.
A guy looking for a sponsor then?
Absolutely.
Jim Wickham, Morristown, Arizona. He's the Evinrude EversStart Co-Angler winner. Carlton, back to you.
It's about time to start our shootout style weigh-in. Our 10 finalists surround the stage, and here's how it goes. Our 10 finalists all started today with 0 weight, and then we're going to bring them up one by one, Charlie.
Absolutely. Each one of them will have to beat the weight before him. If he doesn't, he will be eliminated, and the last man standing is our champion.
Okay, let's get it all started off right now. Here comes Tommy Dillon out of Manhattan, Kansas. He'll bring up the first fish and set the mark to beat. After Dillon set the first mark with a small keeper, the first angler fell quickly. Arizona's Clifford Perch zeroed on day 4, ending a solid tournament in 10th place.
Wow, tough day out there for you.
Yeah, it was a tough day. I thought I was learning how to speak Eastern Bass, but apparently I didn't understand well today.
Did you swing for the fences today, kind of go everything or nothing?
I did. I flipped a jig a lot, but I did try some other stuff, and I caught lots and lots of fish, probably more than any other day, and just not the right ones.
Vic Vadalaro helped speed things along quickly when he raised the mark to beat to 4 pounds 3 ounces on this fish, which was too much for Scott Sills, who finished 7th.
I'm fishing the main river channel here, and got lay down logs that drop off from anywhere from 8 to 20 foot, and using that little spinning rod there with light pound test. And also have to thank Steve Kennedy for turning me on to the pattern. I was fishing basically the same pattern, but I was using a little bit different baits, and I scaled down on my size a little bit, and it definitely helped me out.
The next 3 anglers each took their turn on top of the leaderboard. Dick Schaefer, Dave LeFeBRE, and Troy Akins. By the time we saw Kevin Vida, the leading weight was 7 pounds 10 ounces.
There is fish number 1. And that's it. This one weighs in at 1 pound 6 ounces, 1.6. Man, you've had a good run, but it just ran out today.
And this is something I don't like to do. I'm throwing a weightless worm, and I did it in the last half hour when I got this fish. I'm a power fisherman, and this kills me to fish this way. I fished all week with a crankbait and a jig and a spinnerbait, and that's how I got here. And when we talked about the wind absolutely killed my bite today. I had to have wind for that shallow crankbait bite to go, and it just didn't happen. It's part of fishing.
It is part of fishing again. That shallow bite, you said you needed some wind. What does that wind do to help you those fish to bite?
It just breaks up the surface a lot and gets the bait up tighter to the bank, and the fish go up there and feed, and they're just easier to catch.
Let's give a great round of applause. Kevin Vida.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have gone almost 3/4 of the way around the stage. 3 anglers are out, 7 remain, and the quest for the championship will move closer toward crowning a champion when we come back on FLW Outdoors.
In the EversStart Championship, the money and the prizes are great, and the money is nice. $25,000 and a fully rigged Ranger boat, at least $25,000. But really, it's the prestige. Look at the FLW anglers who fish EversStart. For example, 2-time Angler of the Year, Clark Wendlandt, Dan Moorhead, who won the title this year, and 3 of this year's finalists also fished the FLW Tour. Steve Kennedy, Kevin Vida, and Dave LeFeBRE. They are here, I guarantee it, for the title. The EverStart is a stepping stone, and it's much more. Coming up, more from Gallatin, Tennessee, and the EverStart Championship.
FLW Outdoors is brought to you by Energizer, batteries and flashlights, the power to keep going and going. By Field & Stream, the soul of the American outdoors. By Lowry's Seasonings, your secret to great flavor. And by 7-Up. Make 7-Up yours. Welcome back to the EverStart Championship on FLW Outdoors. Here is our leaderboard. Troy Akins has weighed in all 5 of his fish, and he is our leader with 7 pounds and 10 ounces, followed very closely by Dave LeFeBRE, Dick Schaefer, Vic Vadalero. Scott Sills has weighed out. He's currently in 5th position. Kevin Vida also weighed out. He's in 6th. Tommy Dillon still going, along with Steve Kennedy and Tony Christian. Their fish are coming up, and Clifford Perch rounds out your top 10. Another angler who knows a lot about the EverStart series is with our own Taylor Carr right now.
And he's known about the EverStart for a long time. Carl Swebeck, a Castrol pro from Siloam Springs, Arkansas, who fished in the very first EverStart ever held on Sam Rayburn. You've come a long way, my friend.
I tell you, Taylor, that was one tournament that's changed my life. I mean, I can remember in '98 fishing there at Lake Sam Rayburn and having the same dreams and desires that so many have out here, really wanting to get into the FLW. And lo and behold, I won that tournament, and I tell you, it's been a life-changing experience ever since.
When you won that tournament, was it your goal at that time to move ahead to the FLW?
Well, you know, really, I didn't. It had always been a goal. I knew how big the FLW and all the great sponsors that are involved with the Walmart FLW, and I knew it was a growing. I wanted to be there, and I was willing to do anything, but it really didn't cross my mind. I really didn't think I would do it at that tournament. And by winning that tournament and getting into the other tournaments, I was able to qualify. And like I said, it's just been a life-changing experience for myself as well as my family, and I'm tickled to death to call myself a fisherman.
Carl, you didn't have your best event ever here. What would you do differently if you fished Old Hickory again?
Well, you know, I tell you, I've got the chill bumps anyway with these guys up on the stage. I know how exciting, I know how much I'd like to be there. And, you know, you take every tournament. Every tournament is a new experience. You learn something new at every tournament. And this tournament, I just never got on to anything. I mean, you know, I was catching a lot of small fish. I was trying to make adjustments, but it just didn't happen. And I tell you, right now, I'm feeling for those guys up there. It's going to be an exciting weigh-in.
He will be back. He's Castrol Pro Carl Swebeck.
All right. Let's get right back to the action now. Our leader is Troy Akins with a total weight of 7 pounds and 10 ounces. Our next challenger, Steve Kennedy, coming up from Auburn, Alabama, needs to bring up at least 7 pounds and 11 ounces to be able to take the lead.
Our Kentucky Lake FLW winner in the pedigree boat today needs 7-11, and there is the start.
Record here.
You may have a new record. I believe you do. You tied the record, Steve, at 10 ounces, the smallest one ever weighed in. You tied. You didn't beat it.
I'm proud of it. I've been throwing a Zoom trick worm and a Konami flash just on these isolated pieces of wood, and I really needed some current to flow, and we didn't get any until late this afternoon. The fish just never moved up on the stuff. There's another one.
I noticed the nice, easy sweep of the rod rather than setting the hook.
Right. I'm using 10-pound test line, and if they get around those trees and you set it real hard, it just pops. So just real easy. And if it's a big fish, you don't have any problem with it. With the little ones, you got to set it a little harder so they'll stick them. But
after Kennedy's departure, Tony Christian followed with another of his trademark big fish that took the lead away from and eliminated Troy Akins, who had weighed all 5 of his fish.
We were at Bluegrass Marina, and this is Troy Akins from Nixa, Missouri. He was 4th after day 3's fishing. And Troy, a jig today is what you're using. You're a jig man, aren't you?
Well, that's what I fish, and about 98% of the time it's a jig.
You've got 3 fish in the boat. How have they bitten today, Troy?
Very, very slow. I've really had to work hard for every bite I've got. They're just barely picking the jig up and moving with it. You really got to be on your toes to detect the bite.
So what are you doing as far as trying to get that big bite?
I'm just trying to pitch as many dark places on this dock as I can. I've lost a 4-pounder in here the second day of the tournament, so I know that they're in here. I just need to get settled down and catch them.
The next to fall was Kansas native Tommy Dillon.
What in the world are you doing out there?
I'm digging into where I've been fishing.
You said it was going to be a little tight, but I had no idea. I'm not sure that that's what exactly those outboards were designed for, being a plow, but you got in.
Yeah, we finally got in, but the fish wouldn't bite.
This is where you've been fishing all week long.
Well, the first 2 days, I went in there the first day and caught a limit and got out. The second day I went in, and the first 2 fish I had weighed about 6.5 pounds. It only took me about 20 minutes.
Not going to win this one, but got to be very exciting for you, Tommy.
Oh, it was a lot of fun. Anybody out there that's watching this and likes to fish, you need to look at this EverStart, BFL, or whatever, and start working your way up here. It's a lot of fun.
All right, Tommy, just give him a great round of applause. He did a super job back there. All right, I'll tell you what, it's amazing stuff.
All right, we started with 10. 6 anglers are out. 4 finalists remain, and we're going to move that number down to 2 when we come back on FLW Outdoors.
You know how long it takes to drive from Arizona or California to Gallatin, Tennessee? 30 hours plus, and a lot of guys drove that far from the new Western Division. For years, it was the Eastern, the Central, and the Northern. The West is new this year, and guys that come from the West and become great fishermen, guys like Dean Rojas, Jay Yellis, and Skeet Reese. Some of the new names for the West are on the scene now. One was in the finals today, Clifford Perch. Also look for Brent Erler, Art Berry, Bobby Lanham, just to name a few. New Western anglers coming to the FLW and the EverStart Tours. More to come from the EverStart Championship in Gallatin right after this.
Welcome back to the EverStart Championship. All but 4 of our anglers have weighed out, and here is your leaderboard with those 4 still in the hunt. Leading the charge, Tony Christian with 8.5 pounds. Troy Akins has already weighed out. He's currently holding the 2nd position. We will soon see Dave LeFeBRE, Dick Schaefer, and Vic Vadalaro. That is your top 5. One man in this tent has been there before, and he's with Taylor Carr right now.
It is Kobe Krieger from Okeechobee, Florida. You won this championship last year on Lake Martin. This bring back some memories, Kobe?
Yeah, a little bit. I wish I was still on the stage.
We talked about it meaning a lot to win the titles. You guys fish to win.
Yeah, I mean, that's what every angler goes out for, the start of the tournament to win. And that's a goal of each and every one of us, is to especially win the championship at the end of the year.
You didn't quite make the top 10 this year. What would you have done differently if you could go back and fish days 1 and 2 again?
Well, to be honest with you, I let the pressure get to me. I put a lot of pressure on myself. Got the bad news that Connie Stakely passed away on Tuesday night. So I wanted to go out on Wednesday and really catch a big bag of fish. And, an hour or 2 into the tournament, I was making some really bad decisions, and I just didn't do well the first day. And the second day I settled down and I said, I'm just going to go have fun. Ended up catching the limit of fish. Is just a day late.
Connie is the wife of Jerry Stakely, the director, and she died a few days ago. Last year when you won and she was very ill, you dedicated your win to Connie Stakely.
Yeah, Jerry and Connie, they're great people, and they're real close to my heart. And I'm on the road probably 3/4 of the year and, fishing a lot of FLW and EverStart tournaments. And Connie and Jerry are sort of like my mom and dad away from home, and it was just a bad time for me.
We will see you down in your new hometown of Okeechobee on Lake Okeechobee in January.
I can't wait for the tournament to start. I'm fortunate enough to move south where it's warm year-round, and I've learned a lot about the lake since I've been down there, and hope to do a lot better in the future down there.
Kobe Krieger, thank you very much. 2002 EverStart champion, Kobe Krieger.
And, of course, the entire EverStart family sends their love and prayers to the Stakely family.
Absolutely. Again, Charlie Hoover, the president of FLW Outdoors, dedicated this tournament to the memory of Connie Stakely.
All right, well, let's get back to the weigh-in now. 4 finalists remain. Vic Vadalaro is our next challenger. He's coming up, needs to bring up at least 4 pounds and 6 ounces to be able to take the lead away from Tony Christian.
Vic fishing in the EverStart boat out there today here in the EverStart Series Championship. Maybe just a little extra added pressure out there to perform.
That's it.
That's it. 1 fish in the back here. Weighs in at 1 pound, 8 ounces. Not going to be enough. All right, we got video of you out there at work on Old Hickory. Check the monitor and tell us what you're doing, Vic.
Well, here I'm throwing the bait I really threw all week, a little -1 across a flat. And I was fishing on the outside and saw some scattering shad and everything moving up there. And what they did is they moved up on the flat a little bit. And then I tried fishing flats for the rest of the day, and they really never turned back on, it didn't seem like.
But that little crankbait had worked for you all week long?
All week long. Light line, 10-pound test, and little small hooks.
All right, what color crankbait?
Shad color, just white and black.
After Vic's departure, Dick Schaefer retook the lead with his third and fourth fish of the day, upping the mark to 10 pounds, 11 ounces. Too much for Pennsylvania's Dave LeFeBRE, who fell just short in spite of a strong start to the day.
I'm going to try to put the icing on the cake today. Haven't had a win all year. I think it's about time. It'd be nice to close it with one, you know? Just bought a house. Need to buy some furniture.
Afternoons were strong for LeFeBRE. Mornings were not. So when Dave picked up 4 early bites, he figured it was a great sign. Before 10 a.m., LeFeBRE had 4 fish in his Ranger live well.
I really think somebody's going to need over 12 pounds to win, and I'm not going to feel real comfortable until I get 5. I really want to catch one more. Right now I'm fishing for a small spot or something. I caught 3 spots here the second day where I'm at right now, so I'm just trying to fill my limit right now, not make a crucial, a real bad mistake. I learned that lesson once, so we're going to try to get 5, and then after that we're going to go hunting for a toad.
That toad would never come. In fact, Dave would not add another keeper for the rest of the day.
It seems to me like the fish are biting every other day, like they're biting for me anyway. They're biting for me today, and when they're every other day they'll hit a crankbait.
Okay, we're down to our final 2. The 2003 champion for the EverStart Series will be either Dick Schaefer, who has a total weight of 10 pounds and 11 ounces, or Tony Christian. 2 pounds and 3 ounces separate our final 2. We'll crown a winner when we come back on FLW Outdoors.
Oh man, it comes down to 2 guys, Schaefer and Christian. Now Dick Schaefer has won 5 BFLs, but Schaefer has never won an EverStart. Tony Christian, to contrast that, has won about everything in the last 1 year plus. He's won 5 of 7 BFLs he's fished. He's won the All-American, he's won an EverStart, and he may win here today. And by the way, Tony Christian is in line for $20,000 extra for being a Ranger Cup guy and a Ranger owner. Christian or Schaefer, we'll find out next when the EverStart Championship continues from Gallatin, Tennessee.
Okay, Jason's got a good bird's eye view here of this scale. 1 pound and 10 ounces is what we have got to have out of Kobe Krieger.
Anything less than that, and he's got what looks like to be the fish of the day. And this fish weighs in at 2 pounds, 8 ounces. Kobe's the champion.
Kobe Krieger is your 2002 EverStart champion right here on Lake Martin in Alexander City. Kobe, tell me, how does it feel? You're a champion now.
Well, first off, I want to say this is for Jerry and Connie Stakely. Before I came to this tournament, I wanted to win this tournament for them, and that's what I wanted.
Welcome back to the 2003 EverStart Championship. We're down to our final moments and our final 2 anglers. Our leader right now is Dick Schaefer with a total weight of 10 pounds and 11 ounces. But just 2 pounds and 3 ounces behind is the last remaining challenger, and that's in the form of Tony Christian. One of these 2 guys will win. Our leaders with Charlie Evans right now. Charlie?
Dick, you are in the lead by 2 pounds and 3 ounces, but you've weighed in 4 your fish. Tony's only weighed in 3 so far. You nervous at this point?
Well, yeah, I certainly am nervous.
I would be too. You're 1 man away from winning the first place prize here, $25,000 in that beautiful Ranger boat that's ready to go out on the water. But again, you've had a great week all week long.
Yeah, I have. I really have. It's kind of surprised me. I had a good day today. It's a beautiful day to go fishing. And if Tony's got more than that, that's great. He had a great day too.
We are only about a mile from takeoff, and this is Dick Schaefer from Salina, Ohio, with 13 pounds in the boat. Dick, you may have what will win this tournament. Good start for you.
I've got a good start. It's the best day I've had all week. I've been here for 2 out of the last 3 weeks, basically, and it's the best I've had the whole time.
Dick, we're right out here in the middle. You're near a duck blind and some laydowns here in the middle of the river, and you're working a jig. Why is it working for you?
They just seem to want to bite it. They seemed like they turned the current on earlier this morning, and what I've been noticing it, and I've got a few good bites on a jig.
At this point, with this good a start, will you be disappointed if you don't win?
Well, yeah, really, but You know, there's an awful lot of good fishermen out there, and you got no control over what they do.
All right, you are in the lead right now, 2 pounds, 3 ounces, weighed in 4 of a possible 5 bass limit. We'll go to the man that's weighed in 3. He's with our own Carlton Wing.
That's right. I'm with Tony Christian right now. Tony, you've been here before. You've developed a reputation in your short professional fishing career, 1 as a winner and 2 as a big fish man, and you are back here in a final round again competing for yet another championship.
Yeah, I've made it back. I kind of had a little bit harder time getting here this time. I wasn't catching the quality of fish that I would like to catch, but I was just trying to weasel my way through to the cuts, and I went for broke today, and I fished a jig all day long.
Yesterday on day 3, we heard Tony Christian's singing voice.
Like a rhinestone cowboy. No. Like a rhinestone plowboy.
Now, Tony, Glenn Campbell called and he wants to talk to you, my friend.
What's he want to talk to me about, Taylor?
I don't think he appreciated your version of Rhinestone Cowboy.
I think you might be right.
Although the crowd yesterday did enjoy it.
Yeah.
Tony, you've got 2 fish in the boat today, both on jigs. What are you doing to make these fish bite?
I'm moving it real slow, letting it set, and I jiggle a little bit and let it set. And they just pick it up and swim off with it. The good ones do.
A jig's known as a big fish bait, and Tony, in the last little bit over a year, that's certainly worked for you.
Yeah, I rely on this jig a lot. This one here is made by Sudeth Bait Company, and it's just a 1/2 inch, like a root beer colored jig. Got a little green flakes in it. And I put a Zoom trailer on it. Actually, it's a Zoom swimming chunk. And it just gives it a lot of action when it comes through the water, and you can move it real slow and those tails really come through the water. And if you really like fishing with something, you always want to fish it. So I kind of went to it, and when I went to it and caught a good fish, and that's all it took then, I just kind of stuck with it.
Let's get Tony to go to his live well right now. Let's bring up what remains and see if he can take the lead. If he is able to bring up at least 2 pounds and 3 ounces, he will be our leader. Then we will turn our focus over to Dick Schaefer and see if he has the ability to retake the lead. So here we go. Tony Christian bringing up another fish. Let's see if he can do it. 2 pounds and 3 ounces is the mark to beat.
Tony needs 2-3 to jump into the lead. Here is his 4th fish. And this fish weighs in at 2 pounds, 11 ounces, a new leader.
Okay, Tony now has taken the lead. Tony, go back to your boat and prepare for what's next here. We'll see if Dick Schaefer has another fish.
This will be his limit fish. Tony's only weighed in 4. This will be Dick's 5th and final fish. 8 ounces will put him into the lead. Here he goes. All right. Good job, Dick. A beautiful fish there. This fish weighs in at 3 pounds, 13 ounces. You're our new leader. Stay right here, and we'll watch and see if Tony can overtake that lead.
Tony reaches into the live well, and I don't see much weight in that bag. Let's see what we got. Ladies and gentlemen,
is our champion.
Dick Schaefer has won the 2003 EversStart Championship. Dick, let's come forward. We've got a check presentation for you. From Walmart, here is our check for $25,000 plus a fully rigged Ranger Comanche boat. Here is your champion from the 2003 EversStart Series. Dick, tell me, how does this feel? You have won the championship. You've been close before. Now you have climbed the mountain.
It feels great to finally get it done.
Let's give a final look at our final leaderboard. Of course, Dick Schaefer out on top with a total weight of 14 pounds and 8 ounces, $25,000 plus a fully rigged Ranger boat, followed by Tony Christian, Dave LeFeBRE, Troy Akins, Vic Vadalero, Tommy Dillon, Scott Sills, Steve Kennedy, Kevin Vida, and Clifford Perch. That is your final 10 for this 2003 EversStart Championship. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, you have seen the best in professional fishing right here on FLW Outdoors. Dick Schaefer is your newest champion in the EversStart Series. Thank you so much for watching, and when we see you next, we will begin the 2004 FLW Tour season from Okeechobee, Florida. Thanks for watching this week on FLW Outdoors.